BYDFi is a crypto exchange on desktop and mobile where you can spot trade, futures trade, use leverage tokens, and copy the trades of top trade. There's hundreds of crypto available on their spot exchange, as well as a free test account so you can practice futures trading without getting wrecked. BYDFi.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Good morning. It's Monday, and Mondays are my favourites. The start of the fresh trading week. We start to evaluate the situation. Let's have a look at what's been going on with Bitcoin first of all. So yesterday we had that Bitcoin in what I consider to be a descending triangle formation using this area as support and then basically, roughly speaking, this 10 exponential as resistance. And what happened is we did break. We pumped a little bit and we got rejected from the 50 exponential, which is 61,900 more or less. Pulled back all the way down to the bottom of the formation and back up to the top again. And now we're sort of trending down. So this could be interpreted in a couple of ways. And again, it is Monday, so it's, it's a bit of a... We're in first gear. It's it's only just started. Most markets haven't even woken up yet. It's only me that's up and drinking coffee and walking around at 20 to 7 in the morning, making videos and stuff. So a formation like this, when it breaks, if it breaks towards the end of the apex, it's less likely for continuation. It breaks around this area, it's more likely to have continuation. So we had the first move. We're having a retest. So what I'm going to say here might be counter to what you might imagine, because everyone seems to think I'm a perma bull now. I mean a perma bear. Which is that the formation's been broken, it's come up to resistance, it's coming back down. We're going to see if we can retest the support. When you get a formation breakout like this, and look, this isn't a be-all and end-all, by the way. This formation is not the thing this is not what we've been waiting for. This is not the 4-hourly small descending triangle formation to beat all formations and technicals of anything ever in the world. It's not. I'm just putting it to you that this is something that could happen. We've got to keep our eyes on this area. Back down to the resistance, 60,700, 60,600, back down to the support. If it holds, this could be another decent move that tries to break the resistance, and if it does, then we go back up to another death cross retest, whether it's 200 simple or exponential. Either one of those should get retested if we get a bounce from here. If we break down from here, obviously it gets worse, and those areas that we discussed yesterday will likely get hit about 59,000. And if that gets hit, then it's the opposite, isn't it, really? It's a bullish retest of a golden cross. So bearish retest on 4 hourly of death cross retests, 200 exponential and simple. Move it to a daily, you've got the opposite approach. You've got a bullish retest of a golden cross, 200 exponential, 200 simple, down towards the lower 50s. I know, it's confusing, right? How two different time frames show the completely opposite of each other. It is confusing, but that's the nature of it. This is normal. Remember, bullish. This chart is bullish. There's nothing that can tell you otherwise. This is a bullish chart. I might be bearish, and may have been bearish over the last few months, and I may continue to be bearish. Obviously, I was right to be bearish with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 7 red candles on the weekly. I think I was right to be bearish, but it doesn't mean that I will always and forever be bearish. Not at all. Not at all. That's kind of crazy, because if that's the case, I'd just stay in bed, wouldn't I? Do you know what I mean? I'd just retire. There's really no need to trade if I'm just going to be bearish forever. I'm not bearish forever. So yeah, we're looking for that area. And if that gets lost, 59,000. If that gets lost, no big deal. We're coming down to the bullish retest, the big bullish retest. 53,000, 51,000. That's where we're going for. And these are bullish retests. Like I said, they're bullish. Now, we've got the same sort of thing on Ethereum, and this is why I said that there's a chance of a potential alt season starting this week, because we're having our bullish retest any minute now, really. We're very close to it already. So we've got the 200 simple sitting here at, we'll give them round numbers, 2,800, and then we've got 2,700 for the simple moving averages. Really not far away from where we are right now at all. So if we're going to get a bounce and a V-shaped recovery, we should take it back up to where we lost and then move on and up. This is a very good area for that to happen. I honestly mean it. That's what this setup means. The only problem is going to be what Bitcoin does, and then obviously the only problem with that is what the S&P might decide to do. And as we can see, the S&P is still moving up. It's early days. We're 0.25% up here on the pre-market already on a Monday. So fair enough. It looks like there is strength in this. But look, remember this. There's your money flow index, and there's your bearish divergence. And this is on a daily, by the way, continuing with the bearish divergence. So realistically, it should come back down, even if it's just to retest the 5,140, maybe even 5,100. It should be doing that at some point. Maybe tomorrow, maybe it'll start to pull back to the, have a bit of a pull back into these areas. This would be a big move, by the way, if it were to happen all in one go. I doubt that it would. But we're looking for about a 2.5% pullback, on the S&P at some point soon. Whether we get it today, tomorrow, or at some point this week. And again, it would just be a bullish retest. You got a golden cross here on simple moving averages, exponentials back over here. These do beg a retest as well, so recognize that they do often get retested. If you retest the exponential, it's 2%. Simple is 1.7%. So they do often get retested. So just remember that. Okay, so it's still bullish, but wants to confirm how bullish it is. That's what it wants to do. That's all I'm talking about here. Confirmation of bullish trend, confirmation of bearish trend. That's all I'm talking about, and we're waiting to see those. All right, we're just waiting to see it. I know everyone wants to tune in and get the exact answers right now, like I'm some kind of psychic reading out their tarot cards in a tent somewhere in Warrington. That's not what's going on here. This is just statistics. You've got to balance it out. If you want the greater odds, then you have to be patient and you have to wait for the retests, confirmation or invalidation of the potential setups that I'm referring to. Right, so we're looking at the Dixie finally, and then we'll leave it here. So the Dixie on the 4 hourly, obviously trying to recover the 200 simple and exponential all on this 4 hourly. Basically what we're seeing here is all moving averages merging together. It's not particularly a good look, nor is it a bad look. It's a bit of a meh look, really. No real edge taking place here. As far as trend is concerned, still in an uptrend. It's crooked, and a lot of this crooked behaviour is to do with the Bank of Japan and their interventions. The dollar is kind of under threat, really, in a lot of ways, with BRICS nations and stuff like this. So we might be starting to see fundamental cracks in the dollar, which again is a Bitcoiner or any kind of investor's wet dream, really. But really, you've got to be careful what you wish for, because I know we all want the Dixie to go down, but let it go down in the form of a trend. Don't let it disappear into nothing. Come on now. Let's be fair. There's lots of people who don't have Bitcoin and will never have Bitcoin, and probably don't even have a couple of dollars to rub together anyway. The last thing they need is those dollars to devalue anymore. Same with any currency. Just because we're trading, making money out of trading, doesn't mean we have to be horrible, nasty, greedy gits. That's not what we should be doing here. We should just be grateful with getting it right, making the money, with picking the right direction of a trade. To gloat and call for the death of a currency that's not ethical. Right, so we are looking at a golden cross, obviously down here. 104.2 would be a golden cross retest if that were to happen. Still, that's quite a far way away from where we are right now, to be honest with you. But it could happen, because if we base the analysis on what we see, we are getting rejections on Bollinger Band Center, 21 exponential, and again today. And it's only a 1% pullback to that golden cross retest, so maybe that's what we see. Maybe that's where the last little burst of energy comes from with Bitcoin, stocks, and Ethereum and everybody, so that could be what we're looking for. We could be looking for that last little burst of energy to, I suppose, give what would appear to be like a bull trap, really. It'll be a decent bull trap. You could probably make some decent money out of that. So we're going to start to trend down at the beginning of this week, and maybe towards the end of the week we find ourselves down there with the Dixie, and then we bounce. That's sparking a real consolidation in stocks. Again, I'm talking hypothetical at the moment. That's how it looks like to me, based on Monday at 10 to 7 in the morning. So there's a lot that can be going on this week, and it's barely woken up. No one's awake. It's just me. The markets are basically just grinding out some price action. I'm trying to speculate as to what the market's going to do over the next 5 days. But at the moment, when we're talking about Bitcoin at least and Ethereum, they do look like they want to come down a little bit further, but recognize the bounce area. we're more or less at it right now. 60,600, 60,700. If we bounce from there, realistically, we could find ourselves into the 63s. And maybe if you get into the 63s, you can make yourself up to the 65s. And by the time you get to the 65s, you know, what the hell? You might as well make an attempt for the 70s, you might as well. But until then, we're going to wait and see if there's a bounce there. I reckon it's worth trying a trade, to be honest with you. Especially with the Dixie looking the way it is, stocks looking the way it is, Ethereum looking the way it is. I think it's worth trying a trade. And it wouldn't take long to know if you're wrong, which would mean your tight stop loss, nice and tight, and get yourself out of that trade in case it goes the wrong way. Because, if we are going to reverse, or at least have a very decent, serious rally, this would probably be your first opportunity to try that position. And let's face it, if it were to work out, which it could do, you start off with an 8% move, you could end up with a 17 to 18% move. You could even break out into 25s and beyond. I'm not saying it for no reason. I'm saying it because it's true. But recognize what I've done on this video. It's no different to what I normally do. I've talked about as much of the market as I can be bothered to talk about in this small space of time. So you're not bored to death. And when you mix them all together and make a cocktail of the markets, they do suggest one thing, which is actually stocks look quite good in the short term, although bearish divergence should bring it down, but in the short term it's good. Bitcoin's coming down to support, where you'd normally think about buying anything, wouldn't you? You buy supports, you sell resistances. Here's a support after a formation break and a retest. Okay, Ethereum again coming down to a major support, where a bullish retest should happen. And if you were to take this setup seriously, it would be a V-shaped recovery and then some. And the Dixie wants to come down a little bit, only to retest again, similar to what Ethereum's doing now, a bullish retest of a golden cross on a daily. So when you boil it all down together, it does say actually that maybe there is a decent chance of some upside this week, and we're just coming down to those appropriate areas where we can pull the trigger on them. If you disagree, that's fine. I'm not saying this is gospel truth. It's a trade setup. It's never a guarantee. If you've made it towards the end of this video, or even at the end of the video, just press the like button now if you can, and maybe leave a comment saying how right or wrong you believe I to be, because it helps the algorithm apparently. Other than that, though, I'm going to leave it with you there. Let's just see how the day unfolds. I'm going to look at some altcoins today, given the fact that Ethereum is coming down to what appears to be a bullish retest where a V-shaped recovery can happen. So, potential alt season, I would say, potential for it. Other than that, I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.